Hello, my name is Mars, and welcome back to Between Horizons. We're on our final case, and our newest lead seems to be that Captain Talia locked up her son, the engineer in training Curtis, um, in the psych ward because he knew too much about Otis B and all that. So our next location, our next lead is to go to the bio wing, which is over here. We've never really checked out the psych ward, have we? And while we're here, I might want to go up to the laboratories and give them a quick scan because we didn't actually get a chance to explore when we went there. Alright. Hi. Can I talk to Curtis? Who we found out about all the way back here. Nurse Sonara, is Assistant Captain Curtis here? Yeah. Is it possible for me to talk to him? To be honest, I'm not entirely sure. What does that mean? The captain seems very concerned about his condition and what he might say to people. And she disallowed all visits to him? She implied it, but she also knows that decisions like these are at the discretion of the medical staff. So what does the medical staff say? I'll open the doors for you. Thank you. Yay. This place is a mess. Like, more so than other places we've been. You can't just say hi. Hi, Curtis. Assistant Captain Curtis, I need to talk to you about something very important. Do you feel like you're in the right state of mind? Are you asking me if I'm too crazy to be a reliable source? No, I'm asking if you're too medicated. No, I'm barely getting any meds at this point. My mom pushed for stronger medication when I got here, but they stopped giving me that stuff after a few days. In that case, I need to ask you something. I overheard an argument between Navigator Joseph and Talia earlier. Do you have an idea what that could have been about? I know a lot of people have a lot of problems with her style, so not in particular. So there's nothing that the Navigators specifically may know about? What are you getting at? Alright, listen. I've received information that you may have been looking into Talia's affairs. Wait, did she put you up to this? No, on the contrary. She seems to be hiding something, and I want to know what you were able to out. You were trying to dig into Talia's secrets. What was it that you were after? Let it go. It would just make things more complicated if you knew. Did she have you thrown in here when you confronted her? No, nothing like that. I didn't confront her about anything. So you were trying to get into her computer? Her PDA records? And where on the ship would I get my hands on those? Show Curtis the correct series of clues to answer his questions. He won't talk unless you show him that you have him dead to rights. Ooh. Name a place on the ship where he could possibly get access to Talia's PDA records. Do I get multiple attempts at this? Okay, no, not people. Locations? PDA records. The server room? All of the ship's historical data is stored here. Maybe I should, like, scan some more things. Go around and scan some things. Maybe I'll check out the laboratories. Hold on. Can I go into these other rooms? No. Okay. I don't think I have any other rooms I badly need to scan, but... my guess would be the server room. There can be PDA data there. Wait, excuse me. These are the laboratories? And there are people in pods? Excuse me, let me put those two bits of information together. Are we making clones? I thought we had the reproduction lab for that, but are we making just straight up, like, robot clones or something? Crazy. Okay. Nothing to actually see in here, but... huh. I figured we were just, like, making test tube babies in repro, but... no, it looks like we're just fully cloning people. Lovely. Alright, I'm gonna try giving him the server room as an answer. This seems like a pretty final kind of thing, though. Things I've scanned, though. This might be where we're supposed to apply, quote-unquote, everything we've learned in this talk with, Curtis. So I should be thorough about it. Oh, you know what? There are other things I still need to do. I still need to ask... should I ask the navigators about Otis B? Should I ask Joseph about Talia's secret again? I really don't know. I'm worried about what is and isn't, like, point of no return. But I feel like before I talk to Curtis fully, I should get as much information as I possibly can. So I'm gonna go see Joseph again. Nope, he has nothing to say about that right now. No. And Orland, you also don't know? Okay. And I won't bother asking the two in the server room about Otis B because we learned about it from Noelia. So, alright. Back to this place. It really seems weird that we can't talk to Joseph specifically, because he's the one we overheard having that conversation. Okay. I guess, but I'm not cleared to be down there. I would have had to break in, and I doubt you have proof of forced entry. Okay. Now Curtis wants to see proof of forced entry into the network area. Well, there was a broken door in the network area at the very beginning. How long ago was he, huh. Okay, so it's gotta be that door, right? I'm just gonna scroll to scan things to get here faster. That doesn't mean anything. But assuming just for a second I was down there, what network would I have tried to get into? Curtis seems to be slowly breaking down, but only if I can spell it out to him that I figured it all out. If I can tell him the precise network he meddled with, maybe he will finally crack. Would it be the network that was the answer to the very first case, the PDA network terminal? Of course. The very first case. He was the culprit in that one, I guess. But that doesn't mean he was the hacker who, or the masked figure who killed William, does it? You stole backups from the PDA network, didn't you? Stella. And I saw you that night, didn't I? It was an accident, I swear. I didn't mean for things to go down that way. You killed my dad. Stella, I couldn't have possibly known that. You killed my dad. Assistant Captain Curtis, I am placing you under arrest for the murder of the Chief of Security. I am so sorry for what happened. Please listen to me. No. We will have a proper conversation in the break, and then you're going to stay there for a long, long time. The break? What difference will it make to this place? My own mother locked me away already. I'm stuck in a room on this ship now. And we were always going to be stuck on this ship together. So we were always going to have to work together. Not if I shoot you. Stella, don't. You've already killed one nice guy. Or decent guy. Or guy with interesting ideas, at the very least. Do not kill someone else. I believe him when he says it was an accident. Then I wouldn't be able to tell you what I found. I know the truth about Otis B. What else could you possibly have to offer to me? You know? I know we don't have to be stuck on the ship. How did you get your hands on the message? I didn't. I was told about it. So tell me one good reason not to. Do you know who sent the message? Of course, it came from Earth. Did Talia tell you that? Why would you believe her? What does it matter? Stella, why would Earth tell us about this? Don't you think they'd anticipate a huge risk of abandoning the mission? Who else would? The message was sent from another ship. Another ship? But we're the only one. The one egg in the second basket. Not anymore. Now we're just the backup egg in the third basket. Are you fucking with me? You're just saying anything now to get out of this. Or maybe Talia keeps lying to you and everybody else. She would protect the mission at any cost. Of course she doesn't want anyone to know about the Iris. That's what the Iris is, another ship. The Iris? Joseph mentioned that name to her. Tell me everything you know. If you're lying about this, I will shoot you later. Twice. Deal. Stella, I didn't mean to harm you or William. I saw an opportunity to create a distraction and it went horribly wrong. For what it's worth, I think about the events of that night every day. It's eating me up. I don't care that you suffer. Do you have any idea how I feel? I know. I understand. Fuck. What is the Iris? I only know what the message said. They were forbidden from contacting us, but someone on the ship went rogue. They thought we should know. There were known risks when the Zephyr was first conceived, but humanity was desperate. Many of those risks were associated with the length of its mission. A lot can change in 130 years, especially technology. They considered that maybe a better propulsion method would come along just a decade later that cut the travel time in half. or that other nearby planets would become viable for human life while the Zephyr was already en route to... That should say Eurus, right? And the latter is exactly what happened. They were already drawing up plans for another generation ship at that point. And as soon as the Iris was finished, it set course for Otis B. All this happened years ago, unbeknownst to anyone here. When we received their communication a few months ago, the Iris was a mere 2 years away from the Otis system. So it's not even technically a generation ship. Their total travel time is just about 25 years. Oh my god. Oh my god. So we might even meet other humans? If we change course to Otis, yes, they'd already be there. Curtis. We have changed course. Or rather, we still are. What? Why do you think the power went out? The engine was turned on without proper procedure and caused a full reboot. If we don't course correct within the next few hours, we'll be en route to Otis for good. No. Don't pretend like you don't know about this. I had no idea, I swear. I thought... You didn't orchestrate this whole thing? When did he ever give the impression that he did? Stella, I'm telling the truth. I have no interest in being shot twice. Besides, how would I pull that off? I was barely able to talk to anyone for the past month. You were using the secret server. I have no idea what you're talking about. Without my PDA, I can't connect to any server, secret or otherwise. That's a good point. I have to find the culprit and force them to let us back into the system. Do you have the slightest idea who it could have been? If they're trying to get to Otis B, then I assume they know we can settle there. They don't necessarily know about the Iris. Just that there's a new terraforming technology we may be able to use. Whoever got wind of that and is sick of life on the ship, that's your guy. Agreed. I have to go find them before it's too late. Curtis, I forgive you, of course. It was an accident. And our dad was an asshole. He wasn't an asshole. That one time he framed a man for a custody battle, which was an abuse of his power. But I don't know. You shot Michu. You're no stranger to abusing your power yourself. So, but the least we can do is forgive Curtis. I forgive you for what you did. I understand it was an accident. Thank you. Stella, do you want us to course correct back to Eurus? It's our mission.
My head was spinning. For over a month, the mystery surrounding my dad's death had constantly occupied my mind. There was a brief moment of relief, a weight lifted off my shoulders when I found out who was responsible and why he did what he did. The feeling was immediately overshadowed when I realized the scope of the situation. Everything finally fell into place. Of course, Earth had never told us about Otis B. Of course, the Zephyr would never be able to terraform it. The Iris was the final missing piece that the captain had tried to keep from us. I couldn't fathom the possibility of meeting other people on Otis B. How many were there? What were they like? I started daydreaming of blue skies on an alien world, an ocean of friendly faces in unfamiliar uniforms. Looking back, I felt isolated on the Zephyr. I harbored hope that meeting people in a new context would be my chance to reinvent myself and my place in society. At the same time, I realized how selfish my thoughts were. It would be pointless to go to Otis B knowing that humans were already settling there, when our whole mission was to bring humanity to a new place.
So that's the mission, huh? Life on Earth is becoming inhospitable and we're just trying to get humanity to settle somewhere new. I feel like that was implied the whole time, but it was never directly stated. And, you know, if that's the case, I'm like, why bother going to Eurus B anymore, you know? If the Otis is going to have people there who are capable of terraforming it, why do we need Eurus B? Eurus D. I get the B and the D confused. Why do we need Eurus D? Hold on. Like, life on the ship is obviously miserable if so many people are rebelling. Like, being born into a role and forced into it, you know? Not even born, just like made and assigned into a role. And a lot of people seem to have a problem with that. So, like, A, what is the point of humanity if nobody's really happy? If we're just preserving humanity just for the sake of preserving it? I think these people would be happier in a less restrictive place, in a place where there are other people. Alright. So, it's someone who I feel like I'm nowhere nearer to the truth than where I was. I guess I just need to ask people about Otis B now. I should go down to... I should go down and talk directly to Eric, Engineer Eric, because I haven't really had the opportunity to talk to him directly. When I talk to Noelia, it just includes him in the conversation. I feel like I'm nowhere closer. It just has to be one of those 4 people wearing the pins. And they're in this room, yeah? Nothing to say about that. Nothing to say about that. Okay. I think we already talked about that. Okay. How about... Asher. I know I can't really get into the residential area. Or maybe I can. Could I get into the residential area from here? No, I can't. Or rather, the public area. Alright. So I can't ask Asher about any of that. Oh, hey, I can talk to you. What's going on up there, Chief? I heard people are gathering in the residential area. Yeah, I guess they're discussing the situation. Must be nice to have the time. I can't leave this place for a minute with the amounts of debris coming in. I can barely keep the machines from overheating. If someone can, it's you. Appreciate the hard work. Thanks, Chief. Oh no, that light shouldn't be flashing. So, I can't go talk to Asher right now. No. I thought maybe he would know something else about the pins. Maybe he would have gleaned that information from being around the other navigators, but no. Do I confront Talia about this? I don't really know what I'm supposed to do next. If there end up being no people down here, then I have wasted my time, but... There's Aaron. Not much is alright lately. What do you mean? I mean, have you heard from the captain? Heard what? Anything, really. We're feeling a little out of the loop down here. We've been hard at work trying to get everything back up and running, but we don't really know what happened and why. The truth is, we're still figuring everything out ourselves. As soon as we know everything, the captain will make a statement. But you must know something already. Why don't you share that? I don't know. It's not up to me. I'm just saying, I think the guys down here are getting a little impatient. Alright. Is there anything I could ask you about? I don't think I even have Engineer Fareed in here. As like a person. Because I've never talked to them. Okay, Aaron doesn't have anything to say. Oh. You? Fareed! Chief, down here again? Didn't know you joined the ranks of us engineers. You know, I've always been interested in engineering. And yet you were born the daughter of the chief. Must be tough. It is, honestly. You seem to have such a nice camaraderie going down here. You know what they say, it's lonely at the top. Really? Never heard that before. I have a question for you, if I may. What were you doing when the power outage occurred? I was in the residential area, Chief, celebrating Arrival Day. Do you remember who you were with? I was chatting with Navigator Joseph and Dr. Yaha at the bar. We had been there for a while before the lights went out. Okay. Okay, so... yeah. It wasn't Joseph. And I kind of doubt it was Noelia either. Because... I don't know, it doesn't mean we can trust her, but she swears to us... She swears to us she doesn't know who hacked the thing. And if she's not covering for her dad, we've already had a dad and daughter covering for each other. I haven't asked Eric or Noelia about the badges. No. Okay. Okay. I have no idea how I'm supposed to do this. Hey, I got an achievement for visiting every location on the ship. This is the only place I haven't been, and there is a question mark thing. Infographic baby vat. An infographic showing the medical work reproductionists have to do to keep our babies healthy. Whereas most people on Earth are carried to term by their biological mother, natural pregnancies are avoided on the Zephyr in favor of breeding vats. Every parent-to-be may freely choose the genetic material of their offspring from a vast database of preserved genetic material from Earth. They may also choose to use DNA of their own and or, with their consent, that of another person on the ship. Okay. That's just lore, I guess. Has nothing to do with this case, I don't think. Okay. Well, it was worth checking out. Something just occurred to me. There's a character we met who relates to one of these other people, right? Hold on. I was looking through all the characters, seeing who might have something to say about something. This is Elliot. The child with the disease that only affects you if you're in space. Right? His disease only affects him when he's in space. And he's Eric's son. Eric would be very interested in getting his son into fresh air on the land on a planet off space, right? It seems like an awful lot to base this off of. I couldn't find Eric anywhere. Hold on. Let me go through medical again, or bio again. See if I missed him, maybe. If I missed him somewhere. Where is the kid? This might be it. This might be the lead I need. Okay. I can ask... Yaha is his doctor, right? He would be in here otherwise, but... Hold on. So many people. Okay. Eric has motive. It could be any of the 4 engineers, but of all of them, Eric has the strongest motive. It feels like it might be not enough to base my conclusion off of. I should at least go talk to Eric again, don't you think? Or try to? I mean, I don't think I have anything else to base this off of. This is all a hunch, but it's a pretty strong hunch. Hold on. I'll go see if Eric says anything about his son. Even if he doesn't, I feel like... this might be it. No, he doesn't have anything to say about his son, but... Oh. This is just gut instinct. It can't be Joseph, because his alibi has been corroborated. It can't be Noelia, because she swore to us that it wasn't her. There's nothing keeping it from being Orland. But Orland kind of doesn't have much left to live for. He lost his son, he lost his wife. I mean, they're still alive, but he doesn't have them anymore. Eric has a son. Eric has a son who is adversely affected by being in space. I don't know where else to look. Based on everything I've learned. I'm doing it. This is it. Eric, it makes so much sense. Yes! Solve all cases correctly! I'm so smart, I got an achievement. I have to go find him fast and bring him to the bridge. Time to confront Ave as well. She and the captain must have had an interesting talk already. Oh, I feel like I didn't solve that. Never mind.
You could cut the tension in the command area with a knife.
Yep, there's the kid.
The crew knew that there was very little time left to save the mission. The population, meanwhile, knew barely anything at all, which understandably upset them. By now, Talia had ordered a partial lockdown of the ship for fear of intervention. It was an unprecedented move, a drastic decision even by her standards. She barely even seemed to trust the crew around her. It was somewhat understandable, but I couldn't help but feel that she had some responsibility for her predicament. She had increasingly avoided direct communication with the general population for a long time. And now, she was afraid they would make their voices heard no matter what. She was probably aware of the bitter irony herself.
Move. Wait. What is my son doing here? I have no idea. Dad! Navigator Eric? We have known each other for decades. We stepped foot on this ship together. I never imagined you could betray us all like this. And betray yourself. You accepted the same mission as everybody here after all. What is my son doing here? He is the reason, isn't he? His condition? I'm so smart. Woo! 3 cheers for looking over every piece of evidence as closely as possible. I saw Eric's son, and I was like, wait, stop. That's one of our suspects. Yeah. Once you heard there was a chance of a planetary life for him, you took it. But you chose for all of us, not just him. Some of us care about our children, Captain. Yeah, miss, I institutionalized my son for insubordination. Tread lightly. Take him to the brig, Bodo. With pleasure. Wait, what about undoing the hack? I thought we needed him. I thought so too, but Navigator Joseph was able to regain control over the system just a moment ago. We can correct our course as soon as it is done rebooting. No, please. Joseph, you are killing my son. Eric. Your son wants to serve the mission, as a matter of fact. Yeah, as a security person. He doesn't want to be a navigator. We talked to him about this. He has his own dreams. He literally won't be able to. He will die before he even completes his training. He told me he didn't want to sabotage it. Isn't that right, Assistant Navigator Elliot? Yes, Captain. He is a child. He doesn't fully understand what all this means, and you damn well know it. I merely asked him what he wanted. For the first time in your life, you raging hypocrite. Shut up and move. Now, Teacher Ava, do you have any idea of the damage you've done to our shared goals? Who is us? I think you still overestimate the social cohesion of this ship. Who else is part of your little club? You could have met them all right now if you hadn't taken my PDA away. What do you mean? What were you planning? What do you want? You saw the letter I sent to Louise, didn't you? That should have given you an idea of what we want. More democracy? In the long term, yes. But let's start out with something very concrete. We know about Otis B. We demand a vote. Let the people decide where they want to go. Everybody cast their vote long ago when they set foot on the ship. I was born on the ship. I never voted for anything. Did you, Stella? No, I didn't. I'm sure you'd like to have some agency over your own life for once. Ava, not like this. Don't be naive, Stella. There is no other way to effect real change. The Ethics Committee was informed of our concerns time and time again, but of course they fell on deaf ears. Maybe not all of us want their parents' job. Maybe not all of us want a child at 35. And maybe not all of us want to die out here. I know I can't force you to do anything. But I'm asking, I'm begging. Please stop forcing us to. Let the people decide. You alone are in control of the situation here, Stella. The executive branch is all yours, for better or for worse. Make the right choice. Tell your people to stand down. Chief, listen to me. This mission is so much bigger than all of us here. Humanity would still be alive on another planet. What, are you just trying to colonize as many planets as you possibly can? No, if there's one place where we can be safe and happy, why not just go to that place? Billions of people already cast their vote. They entrusted us with this responsibility, this incredible privilege to serve humanity. It is not up to you or me, or even all of us put together, to abandon it. We're not abandoning anything, we're just putting the mission's target planet up to a vote. It is simply not up to us. The Codex states clearly that betraying the mission is not a choice anyone is authorized to make. I am able to strip you of your powers immediately if you directly jeopardize mission success. Do you hear this, Stella? What good is your post if it can be stripped away at will by a single person? I need to think. Start the vote. I know you want to. I know you haven't been happy in a long time. This is your first step towards... Is this why you've been trying to get close to me? And Louise too? Just to manipulate me when the time is right? You've been manipulated your whole life, but not by me or Louise. I swear I genuinely like you, Stella. She is still trying to manipulate you, Chief. You cannot let your emotions get the better of you. What's it going to be, Stella? We hold a vote. I don't need to think about that for a second. Time choices be damned. Like, you put no pressure on me. That was a very easy decision. We have to hold a vote. Chief, with all due respect, how else do you expect us to go forward? We'll continue to be trapped on this ship together. Do you want to turn the residential area into a second brig? She's right, Dad. Yay, Paul! We should get a broadcast out. Let's get this started. We don't have much time. I believe that Ava and Luis at one point are our friends, but Paul is the only one without any ulterior motives, and he still came out on our side. Way to go, Paul. The wording of this broadcast is going to play a huge role in how people vote. What a democratic thing to say. I'm not advocating for manipulation, quite the opposite. This is why I wanted all of us to be here and discuss it together. We have to make it quick. The navigators are standing by. They haven't touched the controls yet, but we have no more than an hour left until the fuel is depleted. People don't even know about Otis yet. And I'm still processing myself, and I've known for weeks now. How did you find out anyway? That doesn't matter now. I'll tell you after all this is over. I agree it's a lot to take in and base an important decision on, but there's nothing we can do about that. Democracy isn't perfect. We have to trust the people to do the right thing. Because that's never turned out to be a terrible idea. Aren't you a history teacher? We hold a vote, and that's final. What do we need to discuss? We're going to need a paragraph about Otis B and the new terraforming technology, as well as one informing everyone about our agreement. The people need to know that the crew is on board with this course of action and will honor the vote. Fine. How are people going to cast their votes? Some foolproof anonymous system would be best, but I suggest we use PDA messages. We should read and evaluate them together as they come in. Can we use your PDA for that, Stella? Mine? Sure. Is there anything else you want to include in the broadcast? Actually, there is. I think people should know the full truth to make an informed decision. The truth about what? I'm working myself up to it. Chief, don't. How do you think we learned the truth about Otis B? Earth never wanted us to know. There is another ship like ours, the Iris. What? Another generation ship? That's enough. Not technically, since they're reaching their goal in just one generation. They're about to reach Otis B. Are you saying we'd meet other people? Listen. We would meet other people. I know it's a huge argument to Otis B for Otis B to a lot of people, but I think they deserve to know. Are you serious? This is real? Captain, you saw the message with your own eyes. I did. Still, I can't believe you didn't tell me about this. It's very new to me, too. Okay, great. Now it's even more to process. Let's add it to the paragraph about Otis B. Yeah. Thank you for telling us. Navigator Joseph, we have tallied the votes. You really told everyone about the Iris. I've been considering it for so long. I thought everybody deserved to know about the possibility of meeting other people. Did it sway their votes? Maybe. They did vote to abandon the mission. We're going to Otis B. So I don't correct the course. No. Let the ship finish its maneuver. I suppose Eric will be thrilled. It's not for Eric, it's for Elliot that I'm doing this. Save the poor kid. I have a feeling it won't just be him. You called for me, Captain? I did. Thank you for coming. I wanted to talk to you ahead of tomorrow's big ethics committee session. No matter the outcome, we have some things to settle between the two of us. About the Iris, I was foolhardy to trust the general public with this information. Even more so because you used it to turn the sentiment on the ship against the mission. There's no taking it back now. I stand by it. Have a backbone for once in your life, Stella, and I stand by my decision. Anyway, I always knew that introducing voting on anything would be the downfall of the whole system. Democracy is a nice luxury that we cannot afford on the Zephyr. Some situations call for strict hierarchies, and the mission is one of them. We signed away our voting rights when we started it. No, voting rights are human rights, and human rights don't go away as long as people are still human. That's easy to say for the person at the top, who actually did make the decision to be here, unlike many of us.
When you're all stuck in a place together, how do you judge or punish your fellow captives? And after a period of turmoil and unrest, who even judges whom in the end? The people who happen to come out on top certainly aren't innocent either. The ethics committee struggled with this problem and decided early on that there wouldn't be any severe punishments such as lengthy prison sentences. Of course, pretending that nothing happened wasn't an option either. We had to strike a balance to keep our little society somewhat functional. It took us months to work through all the accusations and evidence. Between certain individuals, some residual animosity can still be felt to this day. There was a long debate about whether Eric's decision to divert the ship's course was selfish or selfless. Everybody believed his claim that the power outage had been accidental, but that didn't take away from its catastrophic consequences. 4 people had died, and many more had suffered severe and long-lasting injuries. At least the damages to the ship turned out to be mostly superficial. The Ethics Committee noted that, regardless of his intent, motive, or state of mind, Eric's actions had been incredibly reckless. He spent the weeks leading up to his sentencing in the brig. The Ethics Committee revoked his access to the bridge and permanently relegated him to the inner hull. Once people had voted against carrying out the mission, a chain reaction of changes unfolded throughout the ship. Everything was suddenly up for debate. Hierarchies, career choices, offspring. The dissidents had essentially won in the court of public opinion and were largely spared prosecution for their actions. Ava admitted to having planned the insurrection for over a year. She began her testimony by recounting a late-night conversation at the bar with Geraldo, Michio, and some additional people whose names she wouldn't divulge. She was surprised to be met with universal agreement when she aired her grievances about the Zephyr's rigid social structure. Over the next few months, she went on to formulate a list of demands that slowly morphed into a manifesto for self-determination, which she deemed incompatible with the goals of the mission. She came up with a system to recruit allies without leaving a trace on the Zephyr's networks, which we stumbled upon when the letter in the inner hull was discovered. At that point, the movement and its talking points had already gained a lot of support in the general population. Taking the server online and sending out a mass broadcast on arrival day was meant to bring public pressure to a boiling point. However, the plan was delayed when the power outage occurred on that same day through sheer coincidence. Ava and her accomplices had no knowledge of the hack or its intended purpose. When they looked into it through their network, Noelia quickly cracked and revealed the truth about Otis B. The group then devised the plan of putting the course change to a vote and allow the people, as they put it, to be the masters of their own destiny. In a last-ditch attempt to force the vote, they made the decision to storm the bridge and stall the course correction. I was thoroughly questioned about my role in the whole ordeal. Leona was on the ethics committee at the time. She spoke out for me every chance she got. I think she really appreciated that I had sided with her about the painkillers for her pet.
Sweet, that did have an impact.
My decision to make the iris a matter of public record was not punished in any way. On the contrary, it was generally well received. Captain Talia filed a complaint against me for defying her order to arrest Joseph. I stood by my decision, and the matter was ultimately dropped. The ethics committee argued that the situation was complex, and that Joseph turned out not to be a threat to anyone after I let him go. The main charge against me was the use of excessive force against Michio, resulting in his death. Our final encounter haunts me to this day. I'll never forget the way he collapsed, the endless amounts of blood spilling out onto the floor. I immediately rushed to provide first aid, but as soon as I saw his blank eyes staring back at me, I knew there was nothing I could do. My memory of the following hour or two is still very fuzzy. I know I called Paul and just sat there until he arrived. Someone brought me to my bunk and helped me wash off the blood. Then I fell asleep on my bed for a while. Even though he attacked me first, I fully blame myself for Michio's death. I kept thinking about alternative ways the whole thing could have played out. The ethics committee ultimately ruled that I shot him in self-defense. I didn't receive any formal punishment, which left me with mixed feelings.
Of course, the ethics committee
Dad died a little over 3 years
said
ago.
that.
It's actually arrival day today, but that no longer means anything. Well, except for one thing. We just received another communication from Earth. It's the first one since we came clean about the course change. I don't know yet how they took it, but I assume they're pretty disappointed. The captain forwarded one message to me directly hours ago. It's time I watched it.
Hello, my beautiful daughter. I don't even know where to begin. I hope you're safe and sound out there. I'm not going to lie, a lot of people on Earth are pretty pissed at you. But you know what? I say, good for you. I'm glad the Sparrow decided to spread its wings and fly free. Mission Control left you in the dark about your options, which I never supported. again, she said sparrow, which is, again, the danger word. We never found out what that was about. I'm proud of you for figuring it out. Nobody here has any idea how you did it. Thank you for trying to tell us all those years ago, Mom. Okay, so what she was trying to tell us is that... I don't really know what she was trying to warn us about. The fact that we had another planet available to us, I don't really know. Ever since they said we'd reestablish contact with you, I thought about this next part. I was devastated to hear about William's passing. I thought you would have so much time left together. I hope you're holding up okay. I wish I could be there for you. It's hard for me to say much more about it. You knew him so much better at this point than I probably ever did. But I do know that the man I remember would want you to come into your own. I don't know how things work on the ship now that you've changed course. I just want you to know that you can do whatever you set your mind to. I wish you all the success in the universe. Thank you, Mum. Stell? Stell! Are you in there? I'm here, come in. Oh, is this our room now? 'Cause Chi-Chi's here. Listen, Oh! Chi-Chi almost slipped out. Yeah, she keeps trying to do that. Do you think I should just let her go? As in, let her roam free? Yeah. Give her a shot at being an outside pet. I mean, she wouldn't be the only one on the ship. They seem to handle themselves just fine. I mean, we shouldn't have outside cats because that's actual outside, but outside on a ship that's just all... that's just all indoors, basically. Sure, let Chi-Chi roam free. I still don't even know what kind of animal she is. Let her out. Open the door. Are you sure? Yeah, she clearly wants it. If you say so. See you soon, Chi-Chi. Listen, Stell. We're about to establish contact with the Iris again. We're getting so close now we can almost talk without any delay. It's time to discuss our next steps together. The captain wants you to be there for it. Sounds exciting. I'm ready. Lead the way. Alright, let's go. Oh, I almost forgot. Happy Arrival Day, Stell. Happy Arrival Day. Finish the story. I guess that's the end. I'll wait until they show us, like, a title card. To really go into it, we can just appreciate this beautiful view of the Zephyr. Oh, and it's approaching Otis B. Nice. Between Horizons. Man, I really enjoyed that game. I mean, I've played other games that have a mystery element that are puzzle games. Oh, hold on. The ending ID is generated through an algorithm that does not reflect the actual number of possible endings. That many additional factors to these listed here determine your story's ending. There are countless combinations to explore, even though the main plot points will always largely be the same, especially throughout the first 2 acts. Okay. 10 out of 10 cases cracked. 21 optional encounters discovered. 4 dissidents apprehended out of 4. 124 clues collected. And 259 scans triggered. Talia was the Zephyr's captain. Oh, we could depose her? Oh, I would have loved for that, because she sucks. The people of the Zephyr decided to abandon their mission. Chi-Chi returned to her home. You found out who hacked the Zephyr, you found the leader of the dissident group, and you found the person responsible for William's death. We really appreciate your decision to spend your time in the Zephyr. If you enjoyed the journey, please consider leaving a review. I will. Probably not on Steam. I'm backlogged. I've been spending a lot of time on backlogged. Alright. Credits time? Oh, no. Well, let's look at the credits. Yeah, I'll just scroll through slowly while I talk. Yeah, I really enjoyed this game. It's not the first game with a mystery element, or even the first game I call a detective game I played on this channel. Strange Horticulture was a puzzle game with a mystery element. Killer Frequency very much had detective game elements as well, and was very much a murder mystery too. But this is the first game that's really felt like this is a detective game, made me feel like a detective. The first one that I played on this channel, rather. And man, it was just so satisfying, those puzzles. Like I said before, it's amazing to me that they made an entire detective game, 10 whole cases, none of them involved a murder, but they're still totally engaging. A lot of them also involve crap like hacking and, you know, stealing paper, but they still manage to make that stuff that I don't really find that interesting usually really engaging. Those puzzles, none of them were particularly difficult. I was able to solve all of them, and I have a track record for either failing or having to look things up, and I didn't look anything up. I'm wearing that as a mark of pride. Even though those puzzles were pretty easy, they were all different enough that they didn't get stale. They were all really satisfying to finally get right, because they did tend to take time. Even if they did tend to take some time to solve, even if it was a simple process getting there. And like the fact, even though I never really felt the impact, like in a, oh, this changes how the story branches sense of, I never felt the impact of, you know, how the game autosaves whenever you make a decision and there are no second chances and wrong answers will persist and have consequences. Like, even though I never really experienced that in a story sense, that pressure was still on top of me, making those puzzles especially interesting. So I found the gameplay of this pretty faultless. I know I saw a few reviews that said that, you know, the way that the evidence is organized, like all in one big clump, that could get a little messy, but I didn't find that difficult. Like, you could filter them by people, places, scanned evidence. You could, and the game isn't long enough. There isn't enough evidence in the game that it got too overwhelming for me. So that wasn't really a problem. The big problem that I did have, and I wouldn't even say it's a big problem, because I do feel like everything did get explained to me by the end. I feel like this game doesn't always give you enough context necessarily for the choices you need to make. By the end, that final series of choices about whether or not we should tell people about the iris, abandon the mission, those I felt like I knew everything I needed to. But some of the earlier, like, moral choices, they didn't tell me enough. Like, I didn't know enough about what the culture and life was like on the Zephyr. I didn't know that well enough to understand what the dissidents were even rebelling against. And in all my dialogue options, I kind of erred towards siding with the rebels, because that's just a comfortable thing to do in a game. When you have cops and you have rebels, like, go with the rebels. But I wasn't entirely comfortable with that, because at the end of the day, I didn't have full context. I didn't have full context for what the mission was until this episode, you know? And, you know, it was kind of implied throughout, but I would have liked a firm statement, you know? Like, even the choices about Chi-Chi, whether or not to give Leona's pet the medicine. Like, I don't even know what kind of animal Chi-Chi is. I still don't know. Is she a cat? Is she a dog? Are those, like, weird things coming off of her head? Those weird green things? Are those, like, a cosmetic thing? Or is she an alien? Is she just a straight up alien? I don't really know. Like, I even that choice I didn't have full context for, and I found that a little bit frustrating. Otherwise, I thought this game was great. Yeah. And now I gotta think about what I'm gonna play next. I have a couple of options. One is a game that just came out. It's also an adventure detective game, but it's brand new and seems very interesting to me. Another one is just like a cute puzzle game. And I'll have chosen between those by it'll be Friday when I have to have a new series out, won't it? Yeah. But you'll see what I have prepared then. Until then, I have been Mars, and I will be back with another game. Bye!